Hey everybody, welcome. So today's video recording is going to be something a little bit special. I'm actually here with Vijay, who has entered my universe somewhat recently and actually shown me a really cool new tool that is going to be really useful for managing essentially Power BI files and project files. Now, I could easily, or in many ways, I could try to describe this, but the tool itself has a lot of different features and implementations. So rather than me getting into it in a recorded video, I felt it would be beneficial to bring you on and actually have you walk through a lot of this stuff and give us kind of a end-to-end tutorial of what's coming out in a few weeks, I believe. So this is a new tool that will be available as a SaaS platform sometime in December. Is that correct?
That's right, great. Thanks for having me in this call.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if you want to start, like I do with a lot of live streams, but also recorded formats, give a little introduction about yourself, and then I'm really excited to kind of see a detailed walkthrough of what this tool can offer.
Sure, sounds good. So my name is Vijay Hemantha. So I'm based in New Jersey. So I run a company called Truviz, so which specializes in BI space. And we were ventured into Power BI like 4 years ago. When we ventured into Power BI, we have seen there is some gaps that my clients are looking for. So then we started building some tools for them internally. But when we see the growth of the tool, then we, for the everybody's benefit, we thought to make this tool publicly available for the people to use it. So that's the background.
Beautiful, and it's something that definitely I think came out of left field for a few of us, but it seems like there's been a lot of love and effort put into this. So really, I think excited to see this initial release that will be out in beta in December for some early testers, but then also just how much this will be growing in the next 6 to 12 months. But I certainly learn a lot by viewing and being able to see things. So whenever you're ready, we can hop into the demo and just kind of get a nice walkthrough of like just all the bells and whistles that this new tooling platform has.
Sure, definitely. There are like 20 people worked on this tool for like almost 2 years of time. So
Oh wow.
yeah, it's definitely worthwhile. So let's get over to the demo. So I'll just quickly go over the what's the tool about before I go ahead with the demo. So the
Mhm.
tool is aimed to provide a single platform, an end-to-end platform to analyze, compare, optimize, version control, and deploy the Power BI reports. So as of part of phase one, the current features we are offering in this tool is analyze, compare, and best practices. So analyze, you can analyze every bit of information in your report and model, including the difficult to view features like bookmarks, filters, and dependencies as well. Whereas compare provides you like every bit of comparison between the two different versions of the report or model, and you can easily identify the changes. Whereas in best practices, it automatically evaluates the best practices against your report or model, and you can identify the areas of concern, and also you can have an option to create and edit rules for both reports and also the models. By the tool, it is has zero touch version control, so you really don't need to learn about Git or Azure Devops to use the tool. So it automatically version control your reports, and it also makes your repos the workspace sync ready from Microsoft. So that's the background.
The rule edits are one of the things that I'm certainly most excited to see continue to evolve because it just like the best practices analyzer and tabular editor, being able to have your own version of the truth of what you want to look for, I think is going to be really important with this stuff. So I love that it seems to already be offered to a degree and will continue to evolve as people start to create their own rule sets from that.
Yeah, definitely. So when we'll get to there, so I'll show you what rules we have and what we have in plan as well.
Beautiful.
All right, let's get to the demo. This is the PowerOps website. It's the PowerOps.app, which you can go ahead and sign up for beta today. It's up and running. So right now I'm already registered. So it directly logs me in. So I can just click on sign in. Okay. So we have two options to use in PowerOps, which is the GitHub and Azure DevOps, and it will work for both. So user can log in using either of the options. So the prerequisite is only the either the user need to have a GitHub account or an Azure DevOps account. And once you register for beta, so the user can log in it. For the demonstration purpose, I'm logging in with Azure DevOps. So when I click on it, it automatically takes me into the Azure DevOps, and since I already have a login, so and it's showing me the details of it. This is how you land it. Since I already have an existing report, it's showing up here. But as a
Mhm.
new user, you go ahead and start with creating a new repo. So this is the plus icon, where you can start creating a repo. So where it asks for a repo name, so it's usually a workspace name. So for the demonstration, I'm just adding with today's date, Vijay at 11:20. I'm just adding a repo name here, and any files to add, I have choose an option to create a blank repo, or I can choose an option to add a new files as well.
And this
First,
connects via the what you logged in with. So if you had connected to Azure DevOps, or if you logged in with Microsoft, it would have auto connected to your DevOps and shown you a list of repos and branches. And because you're connected to GitHub, similarly, it's basically connected to that and pushing all and pulling from the back end of whatever system you logged in with. Correct?
that's right. But if you have the same files according to the workspace sync ready, so only those files will gonna show up. So
Gotcha.
other files is gonna ignore. The PowerOps is gonna ignore if even if you have it in the Azure DevOps. But
Okay.
whatever you upload from here, it's gonna show up here.
Okay, so it's things that so the only thing exposed or unhidden specifically will be the ones uploaded from here versus legacy ones, which might have followed a different practice or something else that just wouldn't
We
be
have
exposed
here.
here.
Exactly. So I'll just create a like I'm not choosing S option for now, so I'll just use a blank repo to get started. So when I go ahead and click on create, so it created a repo for me, and it's a blank repo because we haven't added any files. Now we can go ahead and start adding a file. When you click on add a file, you will have three options to choose from. You can have an option to add a full report or a
Mhm.
thin report or a data set. So you can upload even in the dataset side, you have an options like .dataset folder you can upload or a BIM file or a Tyndall as well. When it comes to what formats we support PBIP today. PBIP is the Microsoft recently introduced format where you can save your, let me save a file for you to show. Let's say this is a Power BI report that we have. So sample Power BI report, you can save as that file and save as that as a PBIP folder itself.
Mhm.
So let me save this into a folder called sales. I'm just saving it as PBIP here. The benefit of PBIP is that it stores the skeleton information. It doesn't store any data compared to PBIX. So that's what we would like to keep it in our GitHub or in Azure DevOps. So for example, now I'm browsing it. I'm loading the PBIP on which I saved it earlier. So I can just select the folder, the sales folder which I want to upload. I click on upload and select upload here and click on create. Now it adds that file behind the screens and connecting to my Azure DevOps and adding all this content of PBIP into my Azure DevOps Git.
Now, as
It
this is
takes.
loading, curiously, the
Mhm.
if you have your GitHub repository synced to your computer in a way that if you just open the project file, made an edit, it would automatically push the changes back into the system. Would that would this recognize a change that happened in your repository of a file that was already in this list, or would you need to use this specifically to push the changes through? In terms of anytime you've made an edit to the report or the data set part of the project file.
So it works in both ways. Like either you can start with from here in PowerOps, you can make an edits,
Yep.
or if you are using a Microsoft recently released workspace integration method, and if you're using app.powerbi.com to make edits to your report, and that gets into your version control system, so that the PowerOps also recognizes the changes and shows you the latest information.
Beautiful. Okay. So like you add a new page to a report, you publish it to a workspace that's synced with a Git repository that already has these items in here. So there's already a sales and return sample. It will recognize if that was updated in a workspace that's attached to the repository that is essentially exposed here that you've used the add option for. Okay.
Definitely, yeah. So it works in
Very
both ways.
cool.
Cool. So now that the file loaded, so we upload a full report which has both report and data model. So you're going to see two files here. So, and when we click on it and it shows to the analyze option. Before I go to analyze option, I'll just show you how it is version controls before. Let's go to the project where this is my Azure Devops, and I'm just trying to search for the file that I just uploaded. What's the repo name I created is 1120. So this is the repo that I created just now, and you can see that it just uploaded all the files in here.
Excellent.
So that's how it manages it automatic. So you really don't need to do any commits to Git, or it automatically commits to it. So it takes care of it, like it added what files, and it'll have a commit message and commit IDs as well here. All right, so let's get into the analyze. So the first section is analyze section. So rather than just version controlling the file, it also does the analyze part as well. So you can see in summary, we have two different sections, report and data model. It analyzes every bit of information about report, like total pages, total visual types, custom visuals, bookmarks, and you can also see the visual type account and visuals by pages as well, and objects by pages too. Similarly, if you click on data model, it will give you the high level information about the data model, how many tables you have, how many columns, data sources, and many other. Right, columns by table, data source, connectivity method, and objects by table as well. The summary page.
And
So
to mention as well, the safety and security with this, like the fact that you're working with project files means that there's like the the le- the least secure thing that might possibly be coming out with this is maybe the actual DAX code or the M code, but there's no actual data that is coming out of it. As you said, they're shells. They are it's the metadata for the model, it's the metadata for the report, but the data set itself is stored separately. So anything that is integrated or uploaded to this does not ever touch or come near the actual the data inside of the data sets.
that's right. So we don't store any data at all. So all is
Yeah,
just the data, and this is what the Microsoft also recommend to use the PBIP, because
agreed.
PBIP is going to be the default format from Microsoft for version controlling. So that's what we're going to use it. And moreover, and as a tool, we don't even store any data. The data lives in your own Azure DevOps, the
Yep.
metadata as well. So we just read it. The tool just read it from there and process it here.
Exactly. I think it follows a similar process to some of the other SaaS tools that I've seen, where it's the UI reads it as far as to be able to display it, but everything is completely stored within tenant, wherever, or either in Git or in Azure DevOps in your case.
Correct. Within the customer owned space of
Mhm.
their own
Yep.
GitHub or Azure DevOps. Yeah. All right, let's dive into report section. So in report section, we have multiple subsections where you have pages. You can see clearly like how many pages you have and what are the details. And we try to show it in more Power BI developer friendly format, like to show the page order and landing page and what are the other dimensions. If you look at the raw JSON, it has more of like uh, some coding words, like it won't say the page order, it will have some page ordinal, or the landing page
Hmm.
may say page ordinal, or it will not have the color codes exactly. It will have theme color ID as 3 or 4. You really don't know the exact color code, but we put in a lot of effort to get it exactly as how it shows in your Power BI report. It shows you
And
all the
the
details.
report layout file too is incredibly messy. So the
Yeah.
I mean it's designed for computers, not for human eyes at all. So I can speak from firsthand
Yeah.
experience on the difficulty of parsing the escape JSON that's in there into anything manageable or readable. So this is really cool that you're able to break everything out from the report layer, which has not really been done by anyone until recently.
Yeah. So and it shows you all the details about, like, we put an effort to make sure none of the smallest details is missed out over there. And it shows you like even the border on or off. It will show you everything as need as you see it in Power BI desktop. So the
Yep.
filter cards, and it'll show you the different text fonts or whatever you're using it. So this is just a pages section. Let's dive into other sections as well. So this is a visual section. Let me dock this on the left side. So you can see there are pages, what kind of pages you have. And if the page is hidden, so it will show you this hidden icon here. And on the right side, you have this visuals and type and fields being used. You can have measures, it's showing in orange color. You have a legend here which shows what. So for example, this particular chart, and this has a visual title as this, and there's a type of the visual, and this is the columns that is being used. And this is the visual filters that is being applied. So it shows you a clear picture of what you have, and everything you see in PowerOps is filterable. You can just click on it and filter it,
Yep.
any part of it, and it is also even exportable. Like you can export into CSV or an Excel, and you can even have a column selector if some of the columns you don't like to see or you want to have it on, so you can always select it. So, and we also have like the data, and we also have formatting options as well. So where you can see the formatting options for this particular visual. So you can click on it, and it will show you when you click on this particular icon. So it will show you the visual formatting of that. What are the different settings that it has?
Okay, and that's pulling out a little bit of, like, exposing somewhat how the JSON's essentially storing that, but still in a readable, a much more readable format for people that wanted to see all these different properties that have been applied in the format pane or the on-object formatter, depending on which version they're using.
Exactly. And we may try to do some other UI modifications in the future, like to make it more easy to read than this, but
Mhm.
it's still readable for the by the users. So there are visual interactions as well. So you can see the what kind of interactions you can have for on the visual side. So uh, it will show up like outbound interactions. For example, this particular chart has an outbound interactions like a cross filter with these two other visuals, and it has an inbound interactions with these two visuals. So it will show you whether it's not applicable or it has any sort of interactions.
Excellent,
And
yeah, I mean, I know that's something that can imagine even for best practices in analyzing that is, like, looking at reports and seeing if anything's cross-highlighting, if things should be cross-filtering and vice versa, but getting the separation at the top level of outbound and inbound, can be very useful to see how many touch points a particular visual has on the page.
yeah, definitely. So you can even see accidentally if you have something that not supposed to filter other visuals, if it's
Mhm,
filtering, identify it right from here. And we also have general section. It just talks about general properties of the visuals, and just whether it's height and width and other all other properties that it has. So we also have a wireframe view. So you can click on this visual view that shows you a wireframe view of
mhm.
the visuals, and you can even mouse over on it, and you can see like what fields that this particular visual is using it, and what kind of filter it has as well.
Go to so the filter is useful, and then the other one's just showing you the measures that are being used in it?
Yeah, the fields and measures, like
Oh, the
what's
fields,
being.
okay, so everything in the wells, that would be, any of the wells, including, I'm guessing, tooltips?
That's right, including the
Would that
tooltips.
would that capture anything in the visual level filters? Let's just assume you had a measure filter that was at the visual level, on that, would that show up in the little, would that show up in the fields drop down there?
Yeah, even if you have visual level filters, it will show up in the filter section if
Ah,
this
okay,
visual
yep.
has anything. But this is only shows up like if you added anything like to the field level. So let's say if it's a tooltip, so
Mm,
it could be like a measure or category or
I
any other
see.
like small multiple fields or anything like that.
Very cool.
And you can switch between the other pages. You can see the other details like uh, all other pages is going to show. Even the tooltip pages also is going to show up in here if you have anything. And let's move on to the custom visuals. So the custom visuals tab will gonna show you like what are the used custom visuals. There are two tabs here, used and unused. Used gonna show you like what are the used custom visuals in your report, and it'll even show you whether it's certified or not. Which one says
Is this,
certified?
do you do a web scrape to determine this information, or how much of this is contained in the custom viz file versus you're doing a lookup, in the existing repository that's in the app source store?
We do a lookup as well on the existing. Like some of the information is not directly comes from the raw JSON files that are included in PBIX. So we actually do a
Mm.
to get this information to the latest information.
Especially the ratings, I would assume, and it looks like the Image Pro by Cloudscape has, like, a link, so I'm guessing that takes you to the app source link?
Exactly.
in the over on the far right. Yeah,
That's right. So you can even go click on it and go to that particular the user's source of that whatever the particular custom visual is, and you can
that's
even
awesome.
go to the app source things as well. And it will clearly help you to understand how many of the certified custom visuals we're using and how many are not. And even the cases like there could be some unused visuals. So the some visuals that we have added, but we are not using it in our report, which can
I can
be
imagine at some point, building in it because there's organizational visuals, that are essentially the ones that are approved, and I can even imagine a best practice where somebody could come into this platform, they could pick from a list like whatever's available in app source. They could set whatever their org visuals are that they have actually in their tenant, and then this thing could potentially even flag whether or not an organizational visual was or was not used. Like if somebody used a visual outside of what's supposed to be used, they could get like a flag for that.
right. So yeah, that we can do that as well.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, cool. Right, let's move on to filters. So filters, we have four different sections: visual filters, space filters, report filters, and drill through filters. You can clearly see visual filters, like which visuals are using what are the filters and what are their definitions are.
And these are everything from and I'm just looking, so visual, page, and report. So these are the three scoped filters in the filter pane that we have. So the visual level filters, so things apply to a single visual, things apply to the page and the report, and then the drill through filter as well on the pages. Okay, so then and slicers wouldn't be on this page. Essentially, that would be captured separately on the visuals and then interaction section.
Exactly. So the slice is going to be
Mm,
the visual. So, but if you apply any specific filters on any part of the visuals, that's going to show up here, either visual level
okay, yeah.
on the
Like
page
a
level.
slicer does not equal blank or something like that.
That's true. Yeah.
Mhm.
Any definitions of the filters that you have set, that's going to show up here. So the page filters is going to show up like the all the page level filter definitions, and report level filters is going to show up like the any report level filter definitions here, and drill through filters too. So we also have bookmarks, and so the bookmarks, we all know that it's very difficult to see the features. Like it's a black box, we really don't kind of see what's happening inside the bookmarks. So, but we put in a lot of effort to get it right and able to pass the bookmark and show it in like more user-friendly format. As you can see on the right side, you can see the when you click on this plus icon, so this is gonna show up like all the bookmark details, like what's the bookmark name of it, and whether it is closing the filter pane or opening the filter pane, and what kind of report filters it's applied, and what kind of bookmark details it has. There's certain actions that bookmark does it. When you click on this bookmark, this particular button is getting hidden, and we also have the other visual that is showing up, and but these are the columns
Yep.
that it has, and every bit of action. So you can just like scroll down and see all the action that bookmark does. And it's even clickable with other things as well. You can click on the other ones and you can see every bit of bookmark information here.
And like, I mean, the amount of time that I spent last year, I tried to make something, not the UI, but just a Power BI report that at least spat it out in plain English, and figuring out the bookmark connections and actually getting the right visual names, and like it was a nightmare to do it. Like I got about 80% of the way there, and then ended up getting caught up with other stuff. But it's it's not easy to properly map all of this because bookmarks are probably the most complicated thing in the report layer in Power BI because there's so many touch points that do a bunch of other stuff. And it's basically taking a snapshot of the report page, but every single filter, every object, every relationship, like all of that. Like it's a lot of code that's in that file. So I'm very impressed that you're able to print this out in as plain English as possible, considering how complex bookmarks themselves are.
Yeah, so nowadays, like people use bookmarks for every sort of thing they want to achieve it. Bookmarks is the pretty much sought after for everything that they want to do it in Power BI. So it's used for all different kind of purpose today. So to see what exactly the bookmark does it, and there is no way to see it so far. So, but this gives you the view of like the bookmark, what kind of actions it is part of.
Yeah, this is really cool. I'm impressed that you managed to get this much out, this much detail in just the bookmark section. Because
Yeah.
yeah, it's a black box for sure until we get any kind of report definition language. Hopefully someday.
Yeah, and it even adds this icons, whether it's a custom visual or what kind of
Mm,
visual it is, and it even adds the icons for the whether it's a column or a measure or whether it's ascending, descending, or hidden or all those things. So to make it more easy to read for the users.
that's really cool.
All right, and the other part here is like it shows you the other information, whether it is the bookmark is getting applied on s- selected visuals or all visuals and such sort of things. And let's move on to actions. So actions is gonna show you like what kind of action that particular thing is doing. For example, in this net sales, we have a button and it is calling this bookmark, and this is the bookmark value. Is that bookmark name is that? So
Mm,
this is a
okay,
list of all the actions that we have it on the report.
excellent.
We also have sync slices. So sync slices is like it's gonna again like show in the Power BI developer friendly format as the way you see it there. And for this page, so we have the slicer fields and it's gonna show you whether sync visible or the field changes or filter changes and etc. Right. And we also have navigators. So it shows you like the page navigators and bookmark navigators. Page navigators gonna show you like that particular page where the tooltip page is enabled or not, or show all by default is enabled or not. So what pages we are showing in that using this page navigator, it's going to show you all the information. And same goes with the bookmark navigator if you're using it and what bookmark you're using it as well. Right.
Okay, and the
This wraps
bookmark,
up.
yeah. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, this wraps up the report section. So we can dive into the model section now. So model section, we have a lot more things here. So about the model, you can see all the tables, what kind of tables, what kind of storage mode, whether it's hidden table, feature table, or date table, how many columns you have, hierarchies, measures, partitions, annotation, and a lot more. And we also have a model view as well. If you click on, so it shows you the model view as exactly you see it in Power BI. We put in a lot of effort to get it right. It wasn't easy to get it right like the way it looks in Power BI. So we custom designed this and we're able to get it right. So you can see clearly like whether it's hidden or not. You can mouse over on it. You can mouse over on the relationships to see what kind of
Oh wow.
relationships it has. And like
Do the I'm assuming the table placement's the same. So like how you've chosen to due to the height, the width, and the location. Do the lines actually follow the same direction that you would see, or
Yeah, exactly. So this shows up the same way that you stored it in Power BI. Let's say if you
mm,
place this table somewhere here in Power BI with this lens, so it shows you the same exact way in PowerOps as well. So it uses
awesome? Okay.
the diagram layout.json. There is a JSON file that comes with the PBIP. So we use that file to process this positions and the size, and we're able to replicate the same to give the same view for the as per the user's choice.
If you had multiple diagrams, tabs on the bottom in your model view, will that capture those, or is that like an upcoming thing?
Exactly. So we already in work in progress. So we are able to show you the first one, but we're
Gotcha.
almost done. So we probably will have something that in a week or so. So you're gonna see multiple tabs also here.
Okay, excellent.
All right, cool. So coming out of the diagram view, so columns is like pages. You have call like in tables here, and you can see the columns, what kind of columns you're using, whether it's hidden and what data types and everything, right? So all bit of information about columns you can see what kind of format it is. So and many other information that you can find from here. Yeah, so and we have hierarchies as well. So coming to hierarchies, so you can see the table name, hierarchy name, what levels is like. This is pretty interesting. So you can see clearly like what kind of ordinal it has and levels as well. So all the hierarchies it's gonna list down in a proper way, and which is easy to read. And we also have parameters. So you can see the field level parameters and numeric range parameters. So field parameters is like what are the parameter fields and whether it order and whether they added to the slice and the pace, all those information you can see. And numeric range parameters, if you have anything, it's going to
Hmm.
show you the information as well. We also have data groups. If you have any data groups that has been added, and if you have any list or a
Oh,
bins.
the using the yeah, that it's not used often, I don't think, but when you right click and create a new group, which is either using bins or categories, right?
That's right.
Hmm,
Even if you
okay,
have that, the PowerUp still gonna show up.
excellent.
All right. So the data sources. So you can see the what kind of sources that you're using it. Like in this example, we're just using Excel sources, like with different tables. So it's gonna show up the
Hmm,
data source information.
okay.
And we also have a relationship information as well to see from and to which table. There's more like a Microsoft way they recently added to see the relationship. So we are trying to show it in the same way.
I mean, it's
So
essentially what I like. I wish the the managed relationships view in Power BI did look like, because it's you get a list, but you get very little metadata, so you don't know the relationship type, you don't know the direction, and a bunch of other stuff, which is kind of annoying. So it's nice to get a summary breakdown like this, for sure.
yeah, definitely. So, and it'll even tell you whether it's an active relationship or not, and a lot of other information that relate to the relationships. You can find it here. And we have refresh policies, and we also have perspectives that what kind of perspectives that it has. Yeah, that covers most of the data model information. And we categorized all the DAX related information like measures, calculate columns into the DAX section. So in DAX section, you're going to find like measures, calculate columns, calculate tables, calculation
Hmm.
groups, and KPIs. And coming to measures, for example, this particular report has 59 measures. So you can say find everything here. And you can find the format of it also, um, and other information of the measure. So you can even copy the measure, or you can even do a formatted copy as well.
That's really cool. And
So
it's I'm assuming just using DAX formatter.
yeah, so it uses internal formatter running the tags and against the formatter to format it
Hmm,
accordingly.
awesome.
All right, so it shows you all the information. You can even download all the measures, and you can even filter a measure that you like and see the information accordingly. And we also have calculated columns. It will show you that if you have any calculated columns here. And there is calculated tables. You can find the calculated tables that has been there. Similarly, you can also find the calculation groups. And if you
Basically
have
anything using DAX.
anything that is has an expression, DAX expression, so this will be coming under DAX section. So even the KPIs as well, there is a way that you can create a KPIs from the tabulator. So even those things going to show up here.
That's super cool.
All right, let's. So far, we have seen the report, data model, and DAX. Now, let's
Mhm.
get to something more interesting. So, to find the dependencies in the data, it's like a lineage. So, you can find the dependencies, like for example, the model dependencies. So, you can find like which measures are built based on what other columns or what other measures being used. So that you can find it in the model dependencies section. So it will clearly show you like how this built, and the orange ones are measures, the blue ones are columns.
Mhm.
And if you have like purple ones or calculate columns and the red ones are the table columns. So you can see those things. And let's say if I want to find out like this net sales per month, how it's being built. So you can just click on it. It shows you the flow. Even you can right click on it and say filter. That is going to give you the preview of like what is the
Ah.
lineage for that.
So net sales is using the amount in status columns, and there are other measures that are built on top of it, which is the last 12 months,
Exactly.
and looks like net sales prior month, net sales variance, and a few others. But those then also combine the date column, probably with the date add functions. But okay, so that you get to see both the columns and the measure dependencies all the way down the pipeline. Now, if you had a table reference in one of your measures, you would probably have in your legend a table option, like count rows against sales or something like that. Would you have an additional, I guess, color and object type?
Yes, if you have any tables also, it's going to show up the tables in
Okay,
here, and that's going to show
gotcha.
the connection to the tables. But primarily, the intention here is like to show all the the how the dependencies in the from the child dependencies, like also the parent dependencies it has.
That's really cool, and I mean, I think it helps show you the it's an impact analysis that you could do,
Correct.
in a way. Yeah, yeah.
It helps with the impact assessment. Like for example, if you want to make a changes to the this particular measure, now you know which other measures gonna be impacted by this.
And that search bar, that means you could put another measure in there if you wanted to, right?
Right. So let's say if I wanna search for like net sales, or when you start typing, it's gonna show up like what are the matching things. So you can even select like other parts of it. Like for example, I'm selecting another measure called net sales. It's gonna show you together now
Everything.
as a combination. Yeah, whatever is
And
being
you can
used.
see, like, there's a lot of touch points for net sales, like, that propagates down to another 25, 30 different measures, I think, in the model.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so it'll give you the whole lineage of that, and so that you don't miss out anything. If you're making a changes, that you can know all the dependencies that it has, right? So you can even just not click on from the here. You can even start from here as well. So like if you know a measure that you want to search for, you can just start typing it and select it, and it's the same experience again. Like it's gonna filter for that particular measure to see the dependencies. All right, and we also have a table view for the same. So if somebody is more comfortable with table view, they can
Mhm.
mark here, and you can even search for this one too, the measure names or referencing or referenced objects as well. So let's go to the report dependencies as well. Report dependencies is a one step above, so you can clearly see here. Uh, Right now, so far in the model dependencies, we have seen measures, columns, and calculated columns. And report dependencies is a one step above, so you can gonna see the visuals and pages as well. So, for example, the this particular measure, so we want to find out like what kind of, for example, the same net sales. We want to find out like where it's being used in which visuals and what pages. So you can just right click and say filter, and it's going to tell you like, okay, so this is being used in these visuals, like the green ones are visuals and these are the pages. So you
So
can
the
clearly
arrows
see.
coming in are what's using it, and the arrows going out are what it's using.
Correct.
Perfect, okay. So and this is direct dependencies, so, like, these are the number of objects that are, directly using the net sales measure, not necessarily, like, net sales prior month, but pointing directly to this exact measure anywhere in the report.
Exactly. So we will
Okay.
add an option here to find an indirect dependencies as well. So for now, it shows the
Oh,
direct
that'd be cool.
dependencies. Yeah. And in the model side, it will show you the indirect ones as well, whatever it is being used as well. So, but
Mhm.
we will have the toggle so that you can see both direct and indirect. All right. And we also have Power Query dependencies. So Power Query dependencies, same as like how you see it in Power BI. So you can see that how these, what are the source of it and what are the different files that we are using and what are the tables that we're loading it from where. So it's straightforward. And let's get into the M queries. So if you see the M queries, so there are like, it'll show you all the M queries that is enabled and disabled as well. You can even click on it and it'll even show you that particular M query, whatever is in the format. And the formatter also is going to be added. So you can even have a copy and you can do a formatted copy of that M query as well. What are
Mm,
them
mhm.
that's being used? And you can even download them query in a text file as you like, and even you can start searching it also. So if you see particular a text, and you can even have like a match case and or the match the whole word, so you can even do that as well from the search, and you can even download it, all the queries into one file if you would like, or you can even download it an individual as well.
That's really cool.
Right. So you can even find the disabled M queries too. So what are the M queries that are disabled but it's being used, so that you can find it from here too. So we
Does
also have
it,
a role.
for M queries,
Mhm.
does it flag at all any orphaned queries? So if it's disabled and also not referenced anywhere, I know that's something that I have to a degree. Like if I'm ever auditing somebody's file, like which I do all the time for clients, one thing that I kind of have to do is you just right click and you just select delete. And if it lets you delete it, that means it's not being touched. Otherwise, it will say can't delete because query X is referencing this. But I do know that it's a pain point to get rid of the cobwebs. So is that something that you're considering like planning on being able to like flag at some point?
Yeah, so we can do that since we already have this the metadata. So yeah, definitely we'll try to add that feature in near future.
Awesome.
Cool. And coming to roles, we have like both RLS and OLS setup. So you can see what RLS roles that are being used and what kind of OLS roles also that's being used. Right. So, and we also have info section as the last section in the analyze. So info section gives you like bite-sized insights about your report. So what kind of PBA, Power BI version that you're using, what kind of theme it is, and what is the model compatibility level, and data source version, long ways. And it also gives you facts like whether you're using auto time intelligence enabled or
Hmm.
not. So enabling auto time intelligence is bad. So if you even if something is true, so you can find it right from here, and you can find all other interesting facts about your report. So that covers the whole analyze section, and it just when you upload a particular a PBIP a file, it just not loading it into your DevOps, Azure DevOps Git, and it also analyzes and shows you all these facts instantly.
That's really cool. And I mean, I think continuing to repeat myself on this, but like you've seemed to pretty much have mapped out and provide a summary page for every single piece of the dot data set and dot report file that you have that's in the project file, plus also mapping out any of the custom visuals that are in those folders. So it I'm assuming there's essentially nothing that's in the project file that is not being documented and then reported on in this interface. Is that correct?
That's right. So we want to capture all the metadata in here so that we can use it in the next section, which we're going to go over in the compare section. So that we don't miss out anything in the compare.
That's yeah. Well, and I'm definitely like excited to see the diff compare if you actually have that as well. So let's take a look at that.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
where
Before we
my
go,
eyes have been going.
yeah, let me load a few other files. I'll just show you the experience.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
now that I
please.
loaded the one file in the branch, so let's load another file still. Let's load. I'm just loading the adventure sales, which is a standard demo file from Microsoft. So it's easy. So you can add any number of files using the same plus icon, and it keeps adding it. So as you can see, it's created again, and you can see the files here as well. And the same thing you're gonna see it here. If I refresh now, you're gonna see the adventure sales also here.
Nice.
And you can even create a branches. So this is a branch. You can add a file to your branch, or you can even create a branches as well. Let's create a dev branch. And out of main branch, I'm not adding any new files, but I just click on create and it creates the branch.
Mm-hmm.
And you have two branches now. One is main branch, you have these files, and dev branch, you have these files. You can even
Oh,
delete
and does it automatically create a dev copy of everything from the main branch when you do that?
it. Yeah. Now you can, if you
Okay.
refresh it again here, so you can see there's a main branch here. But if you click,
Mm-hmm.
now you see a dev branch also, which is just now created.
Nice. Okay.
And you can even delete the files as well. So let's say I don't want to delete anything in the main branch, but I want to delete from the dev branch. So you can just come here and click on delete. So it will give you a prompt or you want to permanently delete it. So you can click on it. Yes. So it's going to delete the files as well. And I can re-upload another version of the file that I have a new one. So for example, I'm uploading the version 2 of the same. Click on create. Just take a moment to create it. So it created now. So now you can see the dev has version 2 and the main branch has the version 1 of the file, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can even compare. And now let's go to the compare and see how it does. So I'm comparing against the version 2 of this and main branch version 1 and clicking on compare button. So it tries to compare every bit of information between these two different versions. And it will list down what it found. Right, so it will list down all the sections. So you can find, like in the report section, it has 6 findings, and out of 6 findings, 3 are in pages section, one in visual section, another one is in
Mhm.
filters and the sync slices. So it gives you every bit of details in a clear way for you to understand. Like for example, the for example, this particular one, see the color has been changed. You can even click on this modified button in the center that gives you a drill down view of what it did. So in this example, in the page two, all it changed was the canvas color.
Okay,
So
so for people who've ever used the deployment pipelines, this interface will definitely look familiar for them. Where you have the summary and then kind of the detail diff comparison that shows you what's been changed. But you also managed to you're not just showing the raw code of the line of code that's been changed, but you summarize it essentially in a table.
yes, that's where the value add would be. Like, so they're just not looking the raw JSON, so but they're
Hmm.
looking at the actual values that is being changed. For example, I
And
just
on the
said,
report layer, which the pipelines does not do, that does a diff compare for the data set, but you don't really know if thing changes have been made on the report when you use deployment pipelines and push changes through.
yeah, that's true. So report layer doesn't have a, like a Tyndall version of report layer today, but it may come in sometime in future. But still, like it's still gonna be helpful because it's just not gonna say theme color ID 3 or 4. It's actually gonna show you the color codes that's being used.
Yep.
And it's actually gonna show you the actual visual names than showing some GUIDs in there. So a lot of stuff that makes it more user friendly to see and
Hmm.
compare things. We literally can compare apples to apples from the Power BI desktop.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic.
So it shows you like every bit of information. You can click on it and you can see. So this particular page name has got changed, and it is no longer a landing page now. So that's the difference here. And you can also see in visuals. And for example, under visuals, this page three, we have a change here. You can click on it and see what is the change. So you can see that it was used to be a stack bar chart. Now it's a area chart. So that's just the change. There are no other changes here. And you can even like uncheck. It's currently shows only differences, but even you can uncheck this, and it shows you all other things which are unchanged as well, which
And
doesn't have.
determines when a visual changes because I'm assuming there's a unique visual ID when you first add the container, and that visual ID stays the same when even as you switch the from a bar to a column or something. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. So there is
Okay.
a unique visual ID that we go by to identify the change. That's how we are able to
Excellent.
identify even the page name has changed.
Yeah, because I know you have page ID and visual ID, and I mean, again, even going just from the background that I've had on trying to hack apart bookmarks, the complexity that I found on the fact that you create a visual on page one, if you right click and copy the visual and paste it on page five, visual ID doesn't change. It's still the same visual. So I ended up personally having to concatenate the page ID and the visual ID together to get a true unique ID per re- whole report rather than per page because I was hitting duplication issues. But like one of many complications that comes into appropriately displaying this and mapping it. So it's very impressive.
Yeah, so we had that. We also use the same combination to identify the uniqueness today. So yeah, you're exactly right there.
Very, very cool.
Cool. And it even have a visual comparison as well. So you can see a visual view and you can clearly see what was before and what was recently added. And
So
that's,
you even use that little the placeholder icon that they essentially use before you fill the container.
yes, yeah, we'll show you
Hmm.
the red color and the border lines to show it. And this is the wireframe view, but in the table view, you can also find like what is changed in the filters, sync
Hmm.
slicers, and even on the data model section side, you can clearly see. You can have a like, visual view of data model changes as well. But here, if you can see that it's the new, there is a new table that got added. And
Hmm.
in these two tables, we have some changes. You can click on it and see there was used to be 8, and there is and one more new column that has been added. And you can clearly click on this, and you can clearly see the differences in a. Let me zoom in and show you.
Oh,
So
you color that here too. So you have like the green because the relationship is new. So essentially, anything that's modified gets an orange color. Deleted would be red if there was a deletion, and then green would is both for the relationships plus the tables and
That's
and
exactly right.
columns. That's nice.
So you can click on this and you can see what are the information of that newly added table. And you can even see this particular is on like orange color, so which shows that it is modified. You can click on it and see what exactly are
Mhm.
changed. So this used to
That's
be
so
like
cool.
summarized by, and you can see that. And even the same goes with the column. So what's the column information that got added? So it shows you like every bit of information of that particular model, what is actually changed. For example, this got removed here, so you can click on it and see, oh, this is the column that got removed. So this gives you a clear idea on how that changes are there in the model level, and you can also see it in the tabular view as well. So you can see the column details and what are the columns that got added and what got removed and etc. Same goes with hierarchies and relationships. Wherever it finds changes, it's going to show up. And we also have DAX things. So let's say, for example, this is the something a new measure got removed, and if you look at this example, this expression got changed.
Okay. Yeah, calculated and okay. So the source and main. s- So so the left one's the older one, the right source is newer one, vice versa. But it went from having a relation user relationship added to not essentially.
That's right.
Okay,
So any
excellent.
changes that you do to a DAX expressions also you
Mm,
can find that from here. In this example, I don't have it, but even you can find the differences in the bookmarks as well. So imagine if you removed an action accidentally on a bookmark, or let's say filter pane is opened when you're making an updates to the bookmark accidentally, but and you saved the report. You can even identify the changes like that.
that's cool. Okay. A diff
All right.
compare that does both back and front end is really useful to have at the same time. Because I mean, there's separate tools that do both, but being able to kind of just have all of it in one interface goes a long way for being a time saver. And also just if a client says, "Hey, something broke, can you go figure it out?" This makes it really easy to like, give me both versions of the file, and I can quickly throw it together and do a comparison.
That's totally
There,
right.
so I'd be curious to know as a case study with this. Generally speaking, you have everything uh, branched and versioned and all that. And here, would it be possible um, for a comparison? Because let's just assume that you had two temp versions. They don't actually need to be committed. They don't need to be saved. But you would just like to, you know, for 20 minutes, you just want to compare A and B, and then immediately when you're done, just have them just those versions be deleted as a quick one-off comparison. So I know now you can like click the plus icon, you can add them in and then delete them when you're done. But I could envision even a really useful way is like having an option to just upload temporarily the PBXs via the compare interface, and then as soon as you close it, it just basically deletes them when you're done. If you are not doing any main versions.
Yeah, we're getting a desktop tool also,
Oh,
desktop tool
nice. Okay.
for the PowerUps.
Yes.
So when that is in place, it just lets you do everything
And you
like
just pick the files.
contemporary without committing the stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a dusty because it'll also make it easier to commit. Too, in theory, if you just have the tool running in the background, so you can just open it up whenever you need to, do anything with it.
True, yeah, for sure. So we're going to get a desktop tool maybe in a month
Excellent.
time. So you'll see that. Yeah, cool. So you can even see the changes in M queries. For example, M queries it says there is a change. It says you can drill into it. You can click on this plus icon
Hmm.
and you can drill in to see exactly what has changed as well.
Okay, okay, and it's just doing like essentially like it does like the line formats it and then shows you the line comparisons of what's different.
Yeah. So where exactly like it doesn't show you everything else. What it will show you the color code, the parts that is exactly got changed.
Can imagine Alex Powers would be very happy to see that.
Cool. And we also have info section, so it shows you a little bit of information. But here is just the file name that got changed. If you have any model compatibility changed or any other things, PBA version changed, or anything, it's gonna
Mm.
right.
From a top level, like the master data set settings. Okay, shows default summarizations. The is uh is encourage implicit measures in this list anywhere if you scroll down out of curiosity. Filter type. That
Um,
would be one of the thing I could think about that would be beautiful on this list is it's what's turned off when you create a calculation group, the um, discourage implicit measures, so that way people can't use columns in the visual wells anymore. But
mm,
it's like a model level setting.
yeah, definitely we can add that. That's a good point. So we'll definitely add that to the tool.
So tabular editor used question mark.
Yeah.
How can you tell if tabular? What's the flag that says yes, tabular editor has been used on this model? I'm thinking
Oh,
it might be the implicit measure thing.
yeah, the tabulator usually add an annotation into the whenever you save a model.
Oh. Okay,
So
there's a little bit of notes in the code that actually it
yeah,
indicates it's been something's been edited with that tool. Okay, I
yes,
didn't realize that. So nice. That's I just learned something new there.
yeah, cool. And that's the compare part. So you get the chance to compare every bit of information and clearly shows you like what information you have it.
Hmm.
The beauty of this is like you can peer review other people's work. It's more of collaborative tool. If it is a desktops tool, you're gonna see is only for yourself. But now let's say you're leading a team, so or you wanna review other people's work too. So you can compare between the versions before you make a decision. So to see the exact changes that's happening.
No, that's like I can see that as this is being very very useful. And I mean, end of the day, the thing that I constantly do as a consultant is I need to audit files and uh, make them better for clients. So anything that can help me compare, clean up, automate, and improve without manual review certainly will save me a bunch of time. And even from administration and governance level, I can see this being really useful for the workspace administrators or anyone else, or just re- report and data set developers. If they need to come back in 6 months and they're trying to remember two changes that they did 3 months ago between version A and B, this will make it super easy to find that.
Yeah, definitely. So this will be quite useful in that way.
Hmm.
um, because I also used to run a BI project management as a manager. So I know when I need to review my teams, and all the time the BI tools is a black box. You cannot really see what is being changed. If
Yeah,
somebody gives me two PBX fields to compare, it's very hard to know what exactly has changed. So, but this lets you compare and both on the report and model side as well, which is a good thing.
super cool. And we
All
haven't
right.
even gotten to the best practices, but I think it's saving the best for last. I'm curious about this one.
Yeah, sure. So let's get to it. So we have best practices now. And the best part of this is like it automatically evaluates it. So as soon as you upload all the three things that is ready for you to review, so it evaluates the best practice against your report, and in both on the report side of it and also from the model side of it. Today Tabulator also helps with the model side where you can see the model level, and but with PowerOps you can do both report level and model level as well. So you can click on so it will show you the overview page, a glimpse of everything. So report side, how many rules and how many have failed. So performance and these are all the data model rules. So you can clearly click to see what has actually failed. You can click on that and it clearly show you what exactly has passed and what is failed. So you can even expand it and you can see what actual one is failed. For example, this is as a relationship that has failed and it has a links to the how to fix that things as well. And it'll also show you the past one. So you can clearly focus on what you wanna, what rules that matter to for your organization. For example, if your organization doesn't care about low, medium, and you only care about high, so you can just uncheck it. So that
Ah,
shows
okay.
you.
So you can look at the worst perpetrators and everything. Okay.
Yeah.
So the
So
high 15 means that there's a total of 15 rules across all of these categories, it looks like, correct?
that's right,
Okay,
exactly
7 plus
right. So
5 plus
you
3.
have
Okay, so formatting, maintenance, performance. Okay, gotcha.
so then it will split into the ones where it files. So then you can find out like okay, under performance there is a one high rule like that is not done. So it's failed or something. So you can go ahead and look after those. You can easily identify the areas of concern, what really matters for your report. So then you can make a decision whether you wanna approve this particular report to go to production or not. So you can easily review what is filed, what is passed. And now
Visible
let's go
objects
to
with no description. Yeah, sorry. I'm just like there's so many rules that like just seem really interesting. But like this comes with these base set of rules that you have so far, and I'm guessing this is going to continue to expand as you're probably going to be doing the beta testing and both from your team having new rules written, and I'm guessing some community input as well on what some of the gaps might be on rules that haven't been added yet, but could be added as part of that core rule set.
Definitely.
But
So if you click on this edit rules section, you can see the rules that we have today. So you can clearly see like what kind of rules that we have, like for report section and for performance section, what is the severity and all those
mhm.
stuff. So you can enable and disable the rules. But all these rules today are just from the Microsoft posted, like Michael Kowalski, he posts the rules and which is pretty good, like which we are using the same JSON. So today, whatever he posted in the
Okay.
Microsoft
So
GitHub. So
his report best practices that he has, you've essentially lifted and shifted that as the starting point to use
yeah,
those, display them here, and then I'm guessing for the docs expressions and other stuff, you're probably using some version of that like core best practices analyzer rule set that's on GitHub for the modeling as well. I think.
that's true. Yeah. So it's all the same rules that published in Microsoft JSON file, but the
Mhm.
idea is like to give the system rules, and we also have an option to add a new rules as well as you like. So you can click on add rule and you can add a check a severity level and you can write an expressions as well. These are all the same link expressions, like the same way you write in tabulator, the same thing. And you can even like use the bring the tabulator rules and you can use it right here also. It's the same way that you write in link expression, you can validate the expressions too.
So when you say expression and you mentioned tabular editor, is it safe to assume this is running C sharp?
Yeah, it's the same C sharp link expressions that you can write and validate it.
Now, is
And
there any type of is there any type of IntelliSense or function pop-ups that like help guide you on that, or is there any plans for that?
yeah, so we have putting together a documentation around it, like how do you write a rules and what are the scopes and how do you and examples and which helps you with writing a better way of writing rules.
Okay.
And at the same time, we want to be in sync with what Microsoft has, what Tabulator has as well. So that's why
Mm,
we have chosen the C sharp same link expressions. So
yep.
it's that is being already used in the market. So
Well, I mean, in this way
but
too, if you have your own best practices analyzer on your own Git repository that you use with tabular editor, you could, in theory,
yes,
I'm guessing you could point this to the repo and just say use this rule set for model. And, you know,
yeah. So you can even we will have a new import option. So
or like
right now you
point to
can
get
reset.
to a URL. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right now you can have reset, but we're gonna have an import option where you can import JSON files, or you can even give a URL like you said, so with a
Yeah.
GitHub, so that you can just directly import it.
It makes me very happy to be able to get to have, because I mean the tool empowers a lot of people to be able to potentially start doing this a bit more easily on their own, rather than having to hire an expert to fix a lot of stuff. Like there's still plenty of space for having someone properly clean up your queries in terms of performance and a bunch of other stuff. But you have tools like this. You use something like the measure killer to help you get rid of unnecessary columns and measures. The typical business analyst who is an intermediate at Power BI, I think can get a lot closer to building a high quality data model than they've been able to before they have to spend, thousands of dollars to pay an expert to go audit it like myself, to fix it. So I do like that, they're giving better tools to help the average developer who's just working for a company to be able to go and do self auditing, with a service like this rather than having to pay the MVP level expert.
Yeah, true, definitely. So it gives an insight like to verify all the rules. Even the we
Hmm.
also added some report rules the same way that it's published in Microsoft side, but
Yeah.
there is a lot of chance that we can add some community rules as well, like who's experts like you. So can suggest some rules that make sense. So probably we can definitely add those rules, and users always have a choice to whether to what to enable and what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and they can edit it also. For example, let's say if the number of visuals on a page, like if they wanted to edit it like from 3 to maybe 5 or anything like that, so they can always make
Yeah.
edit, and they can validate expressions right from here, and they can save it also.
And you can reset the whole section to default, and I'll guess there will be a natural evolution as well, where at some point a default rule that you've edited, you could probably reset at at the rule level down the road as well.
Yeah, yeah. So that's
Beautiful.
definitely like we have a ticket already open, so we're
No,
gonna
I
work
mean,
on.
I think that that's one of your big ticket items is the best practices because I mean, the Git integration one makes this a lot more digestible, for, again, because this platform is made for non-technical users. Like it's designed to help, move towards the low code, no code kind of platform
Right.
that everyone's trying to migrate to. But for people who, don't have that technical background, clients and customers, I think this platform will certainly give a really good management portal for files that's just helping you manage, version, branch, and commit and combine, and optimize all the files. So I'm very excited to see how this will continue to grow.
Yeah, definitely. So this gives the goal of this tool is to make everyone as a pro user who doesn't have a background of Git or
Yeah.
Azure DevOps. So I've seen a lot of developers who struggle to find their path towards the Git or using Git or out Git. So it's very alien for them. So this tool helps for them to easily upload at the same time.
Yep.
So you are following the guidelines of what needs to be followed. So everything is properly committed, and you have the commit histories. And we're gonna add a lot more functionalities down the road. But moreover, just not version control, but it also gives you all other collaboration things you can peer review other people's work, and you can also
Mhm.
analyze reports and best practices too.
Exactly. No, I mean, I think for these CI/CD type stuff, and like you just said, confirming what was changed by someone else made an edit to a file in one of their committed versions, I think this will make it a lot easier. I do know that we're in at the time of recording for this, we're in mid-November, and this will be coming out early on. So what I'll likely do is then for people watching this, there will be links down below to go sign up for the beta. So check out any of those links and definitely try this out. Depending on when you're watching it, it just might be in regular release as well. But all resources available to test, try, and or subscribe to this will be available down below. But otherwise, do you have any vision on like what's the um, like any kind of like licenses or what's the general idea behind uses for this, especially for the market of like small to medium businesses and then more like enterprise clients, if you have any ideas on that yet?
So we're gonna give it like up to 5 files or 5 reports,
Okay.
either reports or the reports. So you can use it for free for life, so there won't be any charge. And after that, there will be standard developer fee of $5, and we're gonna publish the pricing, but it's gonna be
Mm.
very, very reasonable. And you
Okay.
can
So like the teeny tiny mom and pop shops that just have a couple of reports, they can essentially use it. But like it seems like most of the other tools that I know, such as Measure Killers and like Tabular Editor, the most of the revenue from this stuff will come from enterprise clients who are the ones that generally have the biggest budgets to afford this stuff anyways. But you allow it to be scaled up and down for free for personal use, so to speak, or companies that are small enough that they just have one or two reports and they're in the Power BI tenant and are using pro licenses. But by the time a company is probably using any kind of fabric capacity or premium, then there will be a per developer subscription of some type.
That's right. So it's gonna be like per developer subscription, and you can even like scale up and scale down. You can add uh, by number of reports that you're adding it, but it's gonna be very reasonable prices that when it can. But the till 5 reports, it's all free, so everybody can use it for life.
And I'm also curious before we wrap up for the day, what are the some of the upcoming features? So let's actually use that and wrap up, and then talk about all the things coming down the pipeline in the next couple of months and quarters for the tool itself. There we go.
Sure. All right. So this is the roadmap that we have. So we're at the phase 1 right now, which is already ready. So we are at the beta testing and also releasing the phase one of the features. So in phase one, we're releasing the automated version control with both GitHub and Azure DevOps. It works for both pro and premium users. There is no differentiation. So, and you can even analyze the reports, which I showed you earlier, and you can find the dependencies like Lineage and compare between
Mhm.
the versions of the reports and the automated best practice evaluation. So this is all we are coming up in the phase one. And phase two, which is we are planning it on Q1, which you're gonna have the pull request. So right from the PowerOps, you can write the pull request right from there, and you can peer review other people's work. You can approve or reject a pull request. You can even make a comment right from there, and you can also find the version history like commit history and many other details. And you'll be have a chance to restore the options as well, and you will also have a notifications and more too. And then Q2, so which we think it covers the end-to-end scope, is the final scope. So it's the way we want to automate the deployments as well. So it'll be a complete CI/CD with this, like with the no-code pipeline building. So we don't need to write a single line of YAML scripts to build up pipelines for Azure DevOps on GitHub. So it will support all those pipeline creation and workflow creation for GitHub right from the PowerOps itself. And along with that, you can even have like a data source set of rules and triggers, like an automated
Mm.
CI/CD things as well. As soon as your pull request is done, so you can this task will get automatically triggered, or you can even set some rules saying that like if the best practices rules, high rules, any of those fail, then don't deploy it. Otherwise, go ahead and like have an automated deployment. So you will be able to configure such things in the final phase. So this is our roadmap for the tool.
You got a lot of stuff planned for this for sure. So I'm excited to see all these enterprise features continue to get released for it.
Yeah, for sure. And at some point, like we will increase the scope of this from rather than just being the Power BI reports. So you can also have some Fabric item also coming into this, like data flows and many other.
Okay, so the the vision will continue to expand out for essentially artifact management outside of just the project files.
That's right.
Very, very cool. I wanna yeah, I think to finish off, I just want to appreciate you for coming on for this. As we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to share or pass on to the people watching this recording?
No, if you guys go ahead and register for beta and sign up for it. And if you have any questions, feel free to send us an email at support@powerops.app. We'll be able to answer. So hope this tool helps you to adopt the version control and also analyze your reports and compare and best practice rules. Happy
Excellent.
to hear
And
it.
yeah, and I'll say as well for everyone tuning in, you'll be back on in early 2024 to do an actual live stream to allow more community questions. I wanted to do a recording to be able to get this out a little bit earlier, especially after seeing some of the information that we had when I saw your booth at Pass and what the capabilities of this are. So this will be a nice introduction for now, but then we'll have much more of an interactive Q&A type live stream coming up. So looking forward to that. But otherwise, I appreciate you coming on for this, and I think this is going to be a really useful tool for the community for sure.
Thank you so much, Wade, for hosting me.
Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, or share this video. Plus, if you have any comments for a future video, go ahead and add that to the comment section down below. Now, if this is your first time to my channel, or you want to see more of these awesome videos, please click that subscribe and notification button. Also, feel free to show your support by becoming a channel member.